a tweet this week from the Three Speak account that said, "Don't like your politics. Shut down your ability to transact. What have we become? Hive is the Lightning Network. People just don't see it yet." So Carsten Otto put out a tweet. This was the context of this is that he said, "Here's a medical doctor who believes the common cold and COVID-19 are the same. When it comes to risk, I guess I close the Lightning Network channel, Germinal Center, and invite you to do the same. If you agree with him, let me know, especially if I know to share a channel." So this is basically people shutting down Lightning channels with people that they don't agree with politically or medically. And we may, our point of view is we may not agree with your politics, but we'll fight to the death for your right to talk about it. And this is the same thing, I think. And it's very interesting on the Lightning Network that you are able to do this. You are able to close channels with the people that you don't like. And so it doesn't really, how can I say, go along the lines of what Bitcoin originally was supposed to be. And then the other side of this is that when you take what Hive can do into account, and essentially a Lightning node on the Lightning Network, which is quite difficult technically to run, is exactly the same thing as having a Hive account on the Hive network, which you don't need to do anything to run. You just need to have the keys. And so you can never be stopped transacting on the Hive network. 0 fees, 3-second transaction times, and it does exactly what the Lightning Network's supposed to do. It even has its own inbuilt Hive-backed dollar stablecoin. And so, people will start to realize, especially when we can now wrap BTC into the Peer Plays network and various other networks on side networks on Hive. We really have an opportunity to demonstrate what the Lightning Network is supposed to be, and not block people just because they've got different politics to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just this whole idea of, and I was listening to Jack Ma, I think that's his name, the guy which
Jack
he's
Ma.
real big on Lightning. Yeah, he's a gangster. I liked him. And he was speaking the truth, and it was really good. I really wish I could have...
You're talking about Jack Mathers, yeah? Sorry.
The Lightning Network guy, yeah, Lightning Network guy that's big in El Salvador.
Yeah,
he was talking about the Lightning Network, and he was saying basically, okay, so what happens? And he was just being theoretical, and I was like, wow, it's really refreshing to hear this viewpoint. What happens if there's all the transaction activities on Lightning one day? It's like no one uses Bitcoin, the layer 1, unless you're fucking banks, or Bill Gates, or whoever the fuck. It's going to cost a lot of money. And then, what if everyone just never, ever wants to interact with layer 1? They're just always on layer 2. And then we look back, and layer 2 is run by the 5 biggest fintech companies. And we're like, holy fuck, what did we do? And that was like, boom, they're getting it. That should be put on the table, and that should not leave the table until there's a good answer. And the good answer is incentivizations. Decentralizing the third parties, realizing another Bitcoin maxi, God, it grumbles. I don't agree with 90% of what he says, but the 10% is really good, so he's worth a follow. And he was saying, people are like, oh, you're gonna have running Lightning Network, now you need to run your own web server and host and get out of the AWS and all that. And he came up and he's like, look, man, asking people to run Lightning Network nodes enough. He's like, nobody is going to run their own web server and all of this stuff. He's like, that's a pipe dream. And it's like, yes, but guess what, Grumbles? Running a Lightning Network's also a pipe dream. That's not going to happen either. We have to accept that people are going to use staking pools. They're going to use mining pools. They're going to do whatever they can to give the convenience to a third party and reap the rewards. That is the environment we live in. That's what all of these things are built to do anyway. You can't mine on Bitcoin profitably if you don't have $1 million farm. You can't mine on ETH unless you have 6 figures in ETH, 32 ETH. You're forced to join a pool regardless if you're a common person. And the Lightning Network is going to be no different if we don't take a step back and realize, okay, the only ones that are interested in doing all of this risk, all of this effort, are the ones that want your data and want control and want power. Right. So they're the ones that are going to inject the liquidity in Lightning Network, build the moats, and then who's going to listen to fucking Johnny's and John Dane and John Doe Lightning Network little rinkety-dink, no liquidity. And guess what? Those can be relentlessly attacked by the ones who don't want any other competition, by regulatory, right? Like, some of these people get God mode. Like, guess what? You can do anything you want, Chase Bank. You can open a Lightning Network node. You can transfer money. You can do you do anything you want. You're good. But John Doe, you can go to jail for 20 years if you do it. And you're going to need this impossible to get license in order to interact. It's a Trojan horse of convenience. And that's how Trojan horses always come in. It's a convenience. It's like, oh, Lightning Network, Chase is joining. Everyone's happy. Everyone's boom, boom, number go up. And then 20 years, you look back and you're like, what have we done? So yeah, Hive is the antidote. That it removes the need for any of that. You can be in control without having to be in control, which is amazing. Just go vote for a witness. You can do it in under 10 seconds, no overhead. The only thing you need to know is who you're voting for. That's asking the absolute minimum of a person. So yeah, I'm glad people are seeing it. Lightning Network is not built. It's great technology, but without incentives, it's plumbing and it's not connected to anything. So it's useless. Unless you want centralization, then it's really great. It could be amazing. It could be, the new internet, centralized 2.0, 3.0. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you're getting it for free, you're the product. Let's not forget that. Yeah. So, like you said, a lot of these entities will be recording your data, your information, reporting that to various parties, which isn't necessarily great for everybody. And on the flip side, if a lot of big entities get involved, they can lower the prices together. They can price drop and put a lot of the small guys out of business because they won't be able to sustain.
Yep.
And then on top of that, like you say, if it's not incentivized, though, it makes it even harder for those small guys to stay afloat. And so you end up tending towards centralization. And then if people can even say, well, I don't like you, so I'm going to turn off your node. I'm not going to transact with you.
They're not cogs in the machine. Cogs in the machine don't have any feelings. These people are too powerful.
Exactly. And that's the thing. All these Hive accounts, they're all cogs in machines that don't have any feelings. It's just, there is a guaranteed right to transact no matter who you are or where you're from. And even though that may have its downsides, ultimately, tyranny can't take over in that situation. And that's what this really is about. It's about decentralizing away from tyranny, not decentralizing towards tyranny, which potentially is where the Lightning Network could go. And I think a lot of people can see the doors to that now. Maybe they'll come up with some solutions for it. Maybe they'll be able to cut that off early. We'll see. But at the moment, those doors are wide open. And they're not
I quickly want to say before the next topic is the best thing that crypto's ever done was peer-to-peer money. I can send you money permissionlessly, and I can receive. That's way better than smart contracts. It's the best thing ever. That's why Bitcoin's $1 trillion asset. Every other chain is trying to break the layer 1 and force the most important novel thing to a layer 2 that's not decentralized. Hive is the only chain that thought transaction first, peer-to-peer money first. We'll figure the fucking fancy magic shit on layer 2. And, I have my conspiracy theory, put my tinfoil hat on. Layer 1 that's fast and cheap puts Chase out of business. It puts banks out of business. It puts third parties out of business. But if you have to rely on layer 2 and then no incentives, that's perfect for Chase Bank. That's why Chase loves Ethereum. That's why banks love Ethereum. Conspiracy theory, right? But, you got to follow where the money goes and who benefits. And that's sort of how I navigate these murky waters. Centralization benefits on a high fee layer 1. Non-incentivized layer 2, period. There's no real argument there. And then they don't benefit from Hive, a layer 1 that's fast and cheap, because now no one needs to use a third party. And mom and pop, and everyone knows not everyone, but a lot of people are starting to realize smart contracts don't scale. It's like having, I'm going to have one big restaurant with 1,000 chairs. No, you'll have 20 restaurants and people will choose which one they want. That's how smart contracts scale. And that's why they're great layer 2s, because you have a bunch of mom and pop stores.
Unless you put them on I was just going to say they don't scale well on layer 1s on most layer 1s, but they scale great on layer 2s that are mostly centralized. So which one do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
So, trust me, Dan. Trust me. We're going to decentralize. Trust us. We're going to decentralize.
Little bit by little bit. Just trust us.
Little bit by little bit. Trust us. Yeah, I mean, this is it's so true, and my concern here, I guess I come at it from a little bit of a concern point of view that people are going to start to use these layer twos, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, see, I've got instant payments, and it's basically free and everything like this." And then the people that get censored on those layers, because those layers get regulated, people are just going to say, "Oh, it's only one, you know." And that you're going to end up with a mass of people on these layer ones that are centralized and regulated, and the people that really do need, you know, the counterculture people, the dissidents, which every free culture needs. It needs a group of dissidents that question the mainstream. They'll get shut out on those layer twos. Whereas on Hive, that won't be happening. That won't be able to happen, as far as I can tell. You know, I mean, we do have a thing with downvoting going on at the moment, but I think that'll fade away, as we've discussed many times, in the months and years to come. But apart from that, you know, in terms of transacting, it's all on layer one. You know, it's on a decentralized layer one, and I think it's going to be the only chain for a long time that can achieve that. And people won't see; they'll ignore it. They'll move away from it. They'll probably use the layer twos on these other chains that are centralized for a while, and then eventually there'll come a situation where people are like, holy shit, we really do need to try for layer ones that have got this decentralized transaction layer. And it's only really Bitcoin and Hive that I can see that are able to do this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And what's gonna happen? You're concerned about people using layer twos. There's gonna be a lot of them. It's gonna be landmines. People are gonna get wrecked. It's gonna put a big black eye. But then after that, you're gonna see Hive. It's like that zombie. It's like, what the fuck? Why didn't that thing go down? We had a direct hit. Right. And people are gonna start to realize, what is this? And that's it's all about sustaining. And one key thing here is, everyone else is concerned with this. How do we scale payments? How do we scale infrastructure, right? Hive is really already there. We're not perfect, but that's been our focus. And what are we debating? What is the biggest debate on Hive? Proof of brain. What is proof of brain? It's distribution of the governance token. Show me one other chain where there's a community debate about governance distribution for the token. Zero. They all go to miners. So even our arguments are light years ahead of anything else, because here we are talking about our biggest issue is making sure the governance token isn't going into centralized hands. Nobody else is having that conversation. They'll have that conversation 3 years from now when we've already fixed it.
Did you see Taskmaster's blog the other day? This is 2 weeks in a row that we actually haven't put a Taskmaster blog in, but the guy got a mention anyway. He did a review of the token distribution on Hive and how it's distributing more to dolphins and intermediate size users than it is to whales, and so the whales are starting to lose power on Hive and it's moving towards a middle class, which is it's really good to see. You know, really fantastic to see.
The biggest whales don't post every day. Block Trades might post once a week. I post, once a week with the CTP. I mean, the dolphins are smart.
The middle class.
The dolphins are the dolphins, the orcas. I mean, they're smart. Yeah. They're gonna look. I'm gonna look back and be like, why wasn't I posting 3 times a day? I'm a jackass. These people were mining Hive. So yeah, it is what it is. It's all relative.
Yeah. I don't know though. I've got a feeling that Taskmaster makes up about 90% of the middle class on Hive.
He's the Mr. Smith of Hive. He's everywhere.
Don't tell him that I told you. All right, should we move on